Next week, famous and fabulous are losing it. From the mad...
I'm angry. Real angry.
...to the bad.
Chris? Oh, punch him!
We've got mind-blowing meltdowns.
Things suck!
I love him.
Do it live!
Oh, come on, sort it out.
You have to be careful.
He's scary. Slimy lowlife.
Shut up!
And psycho celebrities like you've never seen before.
Straight in the face.
You know, I think she's unreal.
Off Elton.
Good evening, and welcome to 20-1 Losing It, an adults-only look at celebrity temper tantrums. In this hour of cranks and crybabies, I can promise ranting and raving, swearing and stomping, fighting and feuding. And that was just me in the makeup room before the show. Let's start tonight's countdown with the entertainer whose tantrums could make Mark Latham blush.
Yes, touch you and throw you through the f***ing window.
At number 20, no one loses it quite like the legendary Elton John.
Like film, I hate videos, there are f***ing loads of them.
In 2004, Elton unleashed one of his most infamous tirades.
We come to Taiwan and it's shit. Taiwan, throw you through the f***ing window.
Talk about the bitch is back. The bitch never left.
Elton, he loves a dummy spit.
Fabulous to watch in the comfort of my house on my laptop. Wouldn't want to be in the same airport with you.
Yeah, I think Elton sits back there at night and plays the tapes of him throwing tantrums and pisses himself laughing.
Any creative artist, whether they're a director, a performer, a painter, whatever, there is an element of monster in them.
And once Elton gets going, no one is safe. Just 2 weeks after his airport outrage, he took a swipe at Madonna, who just won Q Magazine's award for Best Live Act.
Since when has lip-syncing been live? Sorry about that, but I think everyone who lip-syncs in public on stage when you pay like 75 quid to see them should be shot.
He wasn't impressed.
There's probably something I should have bitten my lip on, but as I get older, I'm increasingly prone to not.
I applaud him for saying it like he sees it.
But the bitchiness didn't stop there. At the 2008 GQ Awards, the serial offender lost it with his co-host Lily Allen.
It was a car crash waiting to happen.
We reached a very special point in the evening.
Well, you can have another drink.
Off Elton.
Sorry, Lily Allen. As much as you might not like Elton, it's called R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Find out what it means to heat.
You know what, I'm 40 years younger than you. I got my whole life ahead of me.
It's one of the rare occasions where I think Elton has showed a reasonable amount of restraint.
I mean, his body language, it's like... It's like the bored old bitchy woman.
I can still snort you under the table.
I personally wouldn't be presenting an award with a bottle of champagne.
Sounds like the Logies to me.
Well, you can have another drink.
Off Elton.
Do it live!
Fuming his way into number 19 tonight is American cable news despot and professional rageaholic Bill O'Reilly.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live! Things suck!
A moment like this, I think, shows what a person's really like. Just seemed that the teleprompter had stuffed up. Big deal. Deal with it.
Now, I can't read it. There's no words on it.
You know, these hosts experience incredible pressure and they're just...
When the cameras roll, everyone is Bill's target. From humble Boy Scouts...
Why didn't you just shut up?
Awful.
...to public officials.
Your fault. Come on, you coward.
It's terrible.
And fellow television journalists.
You want anarchy. Mayor. You want nothing to do with that mayor. You want anarchy. No, what
I'm a barbarian.
We've all been at a dinner party with a loudmouth lout.
Oh, I love it.
What would it be like to be in an argument with him? You'd never win because he would never listen.
Hey, shut up. You had your 35 minutes. Shut up.
I love Bill O'Reilly. It's great theatre.
I'm a journalist who provides a program that is entertaining.
Bill O'Reilly is nothing more, nothing less than a bully.
You're a lunatic. And if you weren't a lunatic, 90% of America would agree with you. You're a lunatic.
No, I love him. I mean, he's fair and balanced. He does say that, and he really is.
It's a battle of wits. I enjoy the joust.
Well, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it again.
Jim, good to have you on the show.
Good to be here, Jim. Thank you.
Well, at number 18, it's the athlete and the anchorman. Sports broadcaster Jim Rome had been taunting gridiron quarterback Jim Everett by comparing him to female tennis player Chris Evert for some time. And Big Jim didn't like it.
Yeah, but somewhere along the way, Jim, you ceased being Jim and you became Chris.
Well, let me tell you a little secret. That, you know, we're sitting here right now, and if you guys want to take a station break, you can. But if you call me Chris Everett to my face one more time...
I already did it twice.
You call one more time, we better take a station break.
Well, it's a 5-segment show. We got a long way to go.
Well, we do.
We got a long way to go.
We do.
I'll get a couple segments out of you before.
Well, it's good to be here with you, though.
Well, it's good to see you, too.
Because you've been talking like this behind my back for a long time.
But now I said it right here.
Right, exactly.
Well, we got no problem with that.
I think that you probably won't say it again.
I bet I do.
Okay.
Chris?
I think this is a very obvious case of having a humorectomy. I mean, lighten up.
If you call me Chris Everett to my face one more time...
I already did it twice.
You call one more time, we better take a station break.
Cool, chill, do not do this. This is exactly what he wants.
Oh, punch him! Chris?
Yeah, it was interesting. I would have whacked that guy too, wouldn't you? You know, some people call me Debbie and I hate it. I won't have a go at them over the table, but don't call me Debbie.
You made me feel like...
Hey, how you doing? Sorry I can't get through.
And losing the parental plot, it's that phone message left by Alec Baldwin for his call screening daughter, Ireland, back in 2007.
You are a rude, thoughtless little pig.
That was out of control. I could not believe that a father would call a 12-year-old daughter a pig.
Who says that to their kid?
After Baldwin split from actress Kim Basinger in 2000, the starring couple became a sparring couple. Central to their feud, Baldwin's contact with his daughter.
I don't give a damn that you're 12 years old or 11 years old, or that you're a child, or that your mother is a thoughtless pain in the ass.
I don't care if you're 12 or 11. He doesn't even know when his birthday is. Dad.
Don't think you're going to foster a very good father-daughter relationship acting that way.
You're right, he shouldn't speak like that. He's actually acknowledged that he shouldn't speak like that, but to get to the point where you do speak like that means your life must have gone down a pretty horrible path.
I just called to say I love you.
I want to say that I'm sorry to anyone that was offended by what happened. I'm sad about the way it all played out.
And it would have played out privately, except the tape was leaked to the media. Prime suspect, ex-wife Kim Basinger.
Oh no, now you see, now you've ruined it for me, because I thought Kim Basinger was the good girl.
You have humiliated me for the last time with this phone.
Oh, I think that's horrible. If you're hanging your smalls out in the clothesline, make sure no one can see them from the street.
But Hollywood loves a happy ending. And by the look of Alec and his daughter Ireland at the 2009 Screen Actors Guild Awards, that phone call is ancient history. Still to come on 20 to 1, Losing It.
Who sounds like their abuser?
It's been with him and you're afraid that that's going to come out?
I did not move! I mean, actually, he's being applauded by a lot of the crowd. I did not come all the way here for this.
This was extreme.
May I finish my question?
No, and it's a clash of man and woman.
You do need to go see a psychiatrist. Goodbye.
Welcome back to 20 to 1, Losing It, where the famous are foul-mouthed. And at number 16, it's Michael Jackson's big sister LaToya, who proves there's more than one Wacko Jacko. Who could forget this confrontation between Toya Jackson and Ray Martin on A Current Affair?
You're not saying it. You're the one who's saying that he's a child molester.
Things became a little bizarre when the conversation turned to accusations Toya had made against her brother Michael.
Don't keep making the accusation. Unless you're prepared to support it, don't make the accusation.
Because you know what? You're telling children that it's okay to be abused, and
no,
it's
we're not. No,
so
we're not.
all you
We're saying
kids who are
nothing like
listening
that.
to this, if anybody's touching you,
As the interview progressed, host Ray Martin became just a little bit concerned about Toya's mental state.
Toya, have you had psychiatric
help? The way he's
help?
talking, he sounds like he's an abuser, the way he's speaking.
Have you had psychiatric help?
He sounds exactly like he's an abuser.
Who? Who sounds like their abuser?
I mean, have you been with him? Is that the problem? You've been with him and you're afraid that that's going to come out?
Do you make these accusations?
Is that your fear?
Do you make these accusations?
I'm asking you. That's not an accusation. I'm asking you a question because you're acting as if you have a chip on your shoulder. And there's no reason for you to act that way.
But that's as absurd as everything else you say.
Everything else you're saying too is ridiculous. I think what you're saying is totally ridiculous. I am not stabbing him in the back.
Well, Ms. Jackson carried on with that nonsense for about another 25 minutes, all the time being prompted by someone in the studio, but off camera, presumably her husband manager Jack Gordon, until our bizarre interview ended this way.
I think what you're doing is wrong. I'm sorry. Goodbye. And yes, I'm talking to you so you can hear what I'm saying. I can't hear you, but I definitely want you to hear what I'm saying. Because you do have a serious problem, sir. Whatever it is, I don't know. But you do need to go see a psychiatrist. Goodbye.
Now, while Toya may have done the runner on Ray, here's an athlete who's going nowhere in a hurry.
I did not move. I did not move.
American sprinter John Drummond would not move off the track at the World Athletics Championships in Paris in 2003.
Everyone was watching because Australian Patrick Johnson was in the race, and so we were getting ready for a big 100-metre sprint, and all of a sudden there's a break. And another break.
See the start, well, another false start, so someone's out.
Patrick, that's for sure.
Under new rules, anyone responsible for a second false start would be disqualified.
Like Thomas. No, they're saying, no, they're saying it's Drummond.
When race officials disqualified Drummond after a second break, he wasn't going to take it lying down. Actually, that's exactly what he did.
He ain't moving anywhere.
And actually, he's being applauded by a lot of the crowd.
I mean, the American sprinters are show ponies, and they do, like, carry on a bit, but this was extreme.
I did not come all the way here for this. No.
I think that sometimes athletes, especially some of the American athletes, can get completely carried away with, am I an athlete or am I a performer?
Convinced he was right, Drummond ignored officials and tried to rejoin his fellow runners.
And the crowd has been whipped into a frenzy.
But eventually Drummond was moved to tears when the officials would not let him compete. And almost an hour later, the race finally went ahead without him.
That false starting thing's a bomber.
I like to move it! You were not there at the beginning of that interview!
Losing his professional cool at number 14 tonight is John Sweeney, the BBC reporter who blew a fuse while making a documentary on the Church of Scientology.
He was doing the documentary, and then the Scientologists decided to do a documentary about him doing the documentary, and then just followed him everywhere, and then he just sort of spat the dummy.
This cat and mouse game lasted 6 months, causing tension on both sides.
I'm angry, real angry.
But it was during a tour of a Scientology exhibition that Sweeney got angry, real angry.
Now listen to me! You were not there at the beginning of that interview! You were not there! You did not hear or record all of the interview! Do you understand?
Brainwashing is a crime
Did you understand?
against humanity.
You are quoting the second half of the interview!
He knew what he was doing, that this is going to be one of the great defining moments. Unfortunately, for him, the Scientologists stayed ice cool and made him look a complete dickhead.
I wanted to demonstrate to you that actually my voice is louder than yours.
This is the freaking BBC!
Storming into 13th place is this classic bit of footage captured when feminist Cher Height stormed out on 60 Minutes' Ian Leslie.
You're bringing up others who are talking about me and asking me, like Joan of Arc, I must say, to defend myself.
You see, I'm not criticising your book, Cher. No, I'm not criticising your book. I'm simply asking you to react to the criticism.
Would you mind to let me finish what I was saying?
By all means, go ahead.
Thank you.
I love the theatre of that clip, and I know Ian Leslie would have thoroughly enjoyed that moment at 60 Minutes.
Why is Cher Height so sensitive about criticism whenever people criticise your book?
You're doing exactly what... You're doing exactly...
May I finish my question?
No, and in fact, I think that you're going to keep on like this during the entire thing. And you know what you're doing? Excuse me, I don't care to have this part filmed. You know what you're doing? Exactly what the men in the book do. And then you're going to say, you've been accused of man-bashing. You're going to...
You've been accused.
Turn that thing off.
I could see Ian just go like that towards his cameraman to make sure he was still rolling. He knew that he had something pretty special here.
You've been accused of man-bashing.
Yeah, and it's going to happen right here. So do you want to do a decent interview or do you want to leave?
I will do the interview that I want to do.
Well, then go home and go back.
And that's how we parted company with Cher Height.
Frankly, it's a clash of man and woman. What can I say? You know, it was destined to occur, I think.
Still to come on 20 to 1, Losing It.
I'm not quite sure what the underlying meaning is here.
They forget that by and large they're might, and we can see them.
I don't like you.
Out of control.
It just wasn't cricket.
I don't know what it is with this bloke.
And the good thing is, they captured it all on camera.
Oh no!
It's gonna be so fancy.
Welcome back to 20 to 1, Losing It. And if you're doing your block because you missed the start of the show, calm down, because here's a look back at the show so far. At 20, Elton gives a belting.
Touch you, they'll throw you through the window.
At 19, Bill O'Reilly loses it on cue.
Come on, you coward.
At number 18, athlete attacks anchorman. At number 17, it was Alec Baldwin, colon. At number 16, La Toya is La Crazy.
Have you had psychiatric help?
At 15, it's an Olympic sprinter going way off track. At number 14, a journalist becomes the story.
No, listen to me!
At 13, the sheer nerve of Cher Height.
Turn that thing off.
Next up, the Top Gun himself suffers from a little friendly fire. At number 12, a prankster goes too far and cops a spray from Tom Cruise, who goes redder than the carpet he's walking on.
Now, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Come here. Come here. Why would you do that? Don't run away. Don't run away. Don't run away. You're a jerk. Well, you know what?
I felt really sorry for Tom because he went up and he was walking the red carpet and he stopped to give an interview, and suddenly he would have got the shock of his life when all this liquid just sprayed on his face.
Now, why would you do that?
Now, that could have been acid, that could have been boiling hot water. Thankfully, it was cold water, and I actually felt sorry for him, and I think Tom reacted in an appropriate manner, and I think those blokes were actually out of line.
I think it's fair to say that Tom wasn't that impressed with this reporter's microphone technique. Or, for that matter, Peter Overton's interview technique.
Long time.
I know.
Now, in this 60 Minutes interview, when talk turned to his relationship with Nicole Kidman, Tom lost his cruise control.
And do you have a relationship where you talk, it's a parenting relationship, and talk professionally about each other's work?
Listen, here's the thing, Peter. Yeah. You're stepping over a line now. You're stepping over a line, you know you are.
Well, I suppose they're questions that people want to know.
Peter, you want to know. Take responsibility for what you want to know. Don't say what other people. This is a conversation that I'm having with you right now.
You're right.
Okay, so I'm just telling you right now, okay? Just put your manners back in.
Tom, the biggest movie star in the world, was telling me, a very mild-mannered person, to put my manners back in.
You're stepping over line, you know you are. I'm just telling you right now, put your manners back in.
You know that feeling when it goes through you like this and you can, the sweat coming out of your ears and you've got cameraman, sound man, producer, Tom's people, and you're thinking, where is this going? Do you think I was out of line?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I apologise for that sincerely.
Good.
If looks could kill, I died 1,000 deaths. He has a stare that can split you in half. Tom, thank you.
Peter, thanks, man.
What I'd call an interesting interview.
Thanks, pal. It was terrific, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Number 11. Tempers are lost and dummies spat when 4 competitive couples take on Renovations on one of Australia's highest rating TV shows.
And the good thing is, they captured it all on camera.
Jason had a gutful, and so had I.
But so would we.
So would we. Sure.
I knew they were going to be so defensive, so defensive.
I'm not quite sure what the underlying meaning is here.
It was fabulous to watch because this seemed real, and these people were really peeved with one another.
I've got to spend 3 months with these guys, but they're not my friends.
Yep, it was a pressure cooker, and emotions finally came to a head in one of the show's most memorable encounters.
Didn't you ask my partner, why doesn't Stephen like us? Stephen, this is the first time you've spoken to us. That's the question. That's the question. This is the first time you've spoken to us. It's quite easy. About 6 weeks. That's the question. I don't like you. All right, that's why I don't speak to you.
Strong judgment, and so absolutely. You are a nasty piece of work, let me tell you, girlfriend. Get back upstairs and just stay out of my life.
And if you want to know why I don't like you, you come and ask me.
Strong judgment.
Okay,
why? Why?
Because look at you. You're two very plastic, disgusting.
Right.
I can't. Steve, come on, mate. Upstairs. Yes, absolutely not to come within this unit ever again.
In the past, if you wanted to find gentlemen, then you'd look to the green and pleasant fields where cricket was played. That was until Indian cricketer Harbhajan Singh decided that winning was more important than tradition.
Well played, Harbhajan Singh.
Steaming in at number 10 tonight is Harbhajan Singh and his alleged monkey slur. A moment of lost plot during 2007's second test against Australia that will forever be known as Bolly Line.
I don't know what it is with this bloke. He's got a habit of making himself very unpopular. I've never met the guy. He's actually a bloody good cricketer. But she's put some noses out of joint.
He allegedly called Australia's Andrew Symonds a monkey. He wanted to get under Andrew's skin, and it worked.
Hayden, well within earshot, chimes in.
It just wasn't cricket.
What made Harbhajan's mental meltdown all the more incredible was he'd been warned about using the word prior to the series.
Allegations of racism have marred Australia's convincing victory over India in their spiteful one-day series.
Harbhajan lost the lot. Firstly, the test match, and following a disciplinary hearing with the ICC Appeals Commissioner, 50% of his match fee in fines.
I played cricket against Ricky Ponting for a decade. You know, if they say they heard something, then that's good enough for me.
I think with cricketers, they forget that we can see them close up. They're in this big field, the crowd's a long way away, they're having small moments of interaction with each other. They forget that by and large they're mic'd and we can see them.
Well played, Harbhajan Singh. What a contribution he's making here.
Racism is unacceptable on any sporting arena.
Still to come on 20 to 1, Losing It.
Delightful man off the court, a terror on the court.
Because you knew something was going to happen.
Up yours, buddy. Oh, yes, this is great television.
How much bigger a point can you screw it up with? Makes me sick.
Got to be on your best behaviour.
You made a damn fool of me.
Okay.
What can I say? Tough titties.
Welcome back to 20 to 1, where we're counting down the top tantrums. Tonight's number 9 is the spokeswoman for a religion preaching peace and tolerance, and her cold, calm, calculated cussing.
I tell you, the is so bigoted, it deserves to be taken over.
At number 9 is Ma Anand Sheila, outrageous spokeswoman for the Orange people and renowned for losing her patience in television interviews.
Up yours, buddy.
As Mike Willesee found out when she came to Australia to promote her religion and her leader, Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh.
So your godlike figure is quite happy to be a pimp.
And I beg your pardon.
I said your godlike figure is happy to be a pimp.
I beg your pardon. Whoever you happen to be.
Well, is he a pimp or is he not?
You know, you're a worthless man. You must know pimps because you must be going to prostitute yourself and must be in touch with pimps.
Definitely not to be trifled with that one. Yeah, but I think Mike gave her a good trifle.
You're running for cover because I've called your godlike figure a pimp.
No, I'm not running for cover, mister. I don't run for cover. And person like you make me run for cover? Ah, that's a joke.
Well, I guess we could do with a bit of levity in this interview. Good luck to anyone else who wants to join your Rajneeshis and pay money to the Bhagwan.
Good luck to you and your pimps.
But Sheila's best remembered for an interview with Ian Leslie and two famous words.
Sheila, whatever your plans are, we don't want the Rajneeshis. We don't want the orange people in our town.
What can I say? Tough titties.
That one comment got so much airplay, and that was the call in the playground. Anytime something went wrong, it was tough titties.
This is probably my only chance on TV to say tough titties.
Tough titties.
Surely the producer must have been sitting there going, yes, this is great television.
Tough titties.
Number 8, this vintage slice of prime-time conflict between Ron Casey and Jana Wendt.
You made a damn fool of me in that immigration debate when you...
Mr. Casey, you know you did a good job of it yourself. You know that.
Yeah, because I went along them in good faith to understand the other ethnic communities' points of view.
Mr. Casey, your own lawyer has admitted that your remarks were tasteless and perhaps offensive. You go along with that?
So do I. I've said that already.
Then why say them? Why make the remarks?
Oh, Jana, sometimes you amaze me. You are just a dumb broad.
Jana was just staring at Ronnie, just doing these ones, with utter contempt.
I won't refer to them, Mr. Casey, because I'd like you to be accountable for your own words for a change.
I am going to tell you...
Are you not ashamed of those specific words?
Don't try and talk me down, because I will just keep talking, and, don't hide behind your skirt, Jana.
Yes, he was very charming to Jana.
Well, Jana, the way I hear it is that you may be going to America next year to work because you're not getting paid enough by Channel 9. I think you get paid as much as you're worth, and I think I get paid more than you. And you smugly sit up there and pick on the two mistakes in such a long period of time, and you condemn me with your audience for those mistakes. Now, if you think that's smart on your part, and you think that's really good television, yahoo for you. I hope you get another 28 rating out of it.
I think the viewer at home would have loved it.
Sure, I make mistakes, and sure, I'm fallible, but I'm a human being. I'm not sitting up there with a pair of glass pants on thinking I'm the Queen of England.
OK, Mr. Casey, thanks for your time.
And thank you, Jana, for your usual crystal clear gaze.
He wanted to give Jana a verbal slap, and the only thing he could pick on was the crystal gaze. It's a lot of charm, Mr. Casey. I mean, a lot of charm.
And there's a lot of bitch in you.
At the top levels of professional sport, elite athletes treat each moment as though it was a matter of life and death. But John McEnroe thought tennis was more important than that. No matter how many times you've seen him lose it, the super brat is unmissable.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Oh yeah, we're serious. There may not have been any tears, but John McEnroe sure threw some show-stopping tantrums.
That ball was on the line. Jaw flew up. You got the absolute pits of the world, you know that?
I'm going to award a point against you, Mr. McEnroe.
It shocked everybody because it was Wimbledon too. I mean, it's Wimbledon. There's the royalties sitting up there. You've got to be on your best behaviour. And I was certainly told, when I went to Wimbledon, it was like walking into sacred ground.
Look, John McEnroe, I think, is an absolute disgrace, I have to admit.
Code violation, unsportsmanlike conduct. Warning, Mr. McEnroe.
Delightful man off the court.
a terror on the court.
He was flamboyant, he had a mouth, he just abused the umpires and wouldn't give a damn.
He'd give it to umpires.
What did I say, umpire? Tell me. Please tell me. Just please tell me.
He'd give it to the people in the crowd. Give it to television reporters.
I can't get any worse, the press I'm getting here, because you guys are just so low that it makes me sick.
When he was playing out there, he seemed to thrive when he had all the attention on him.
Can you get a clear mistake on break point, for God's sakes? Is that not a big enough point for you to screw up? How much bigger a point can you screw it up with? It makes me sick. If this cost me my match, you and this lady, you should never be allowed to officiate a match again. Do you realize that?
Code violation.
Like, at the time, everyone was all up in arms about McEnroe and, you know, everyone's getting upset and offended by it. And then he retires and they go, gee, it's boring now, isn't it? Where are the characters? We haven't got any characters in the game now.
You are getting a public warning. Now please stay on.
You guys are the absolute hits of the world, you know that?
McEnroe very angry. It did appear to be wide.
Coming up next on 20 to 1.
Get off your nut.
Let me have a go.
Shut up! Mate, stay away from me.
So I've just been punched straight in the face.
Give me something to talk about, you bunch of wankers. Turned around, looked at the bloke and belted him.
That would cause a lot of anxiety.
And you are a slimy lowlife, okay?
And at number 6, it's the people we trust to control just about every part of our lives, but can't seem to control themselves. Yes, it's the pollies who've done their lollies. Voters, beware of these politicians voting to spit the dummy with a show of hands and feet.
I think everyone has a right to spit the dummy every now and then.
They've got a lot of pressure on them. They're meant to be running a country. That would cause a lot of anxiety, and every now and again, get off your nut. I mean, work for Mark Latham.
In 2001, Mr. Latham had a fair old dummy spit with a taxi driver.
A broken arm, the father of 4 claims, the result of a tackle by the MP.
It was a beautiful copybook cover defending tackle.
I'm not too sure what happened to the fare, but the cabbie was certainly shortchanged.
I'm tense and nervous and I can't relax.
5 years on, he was back in the picture.
Outside this fast food restaurant, Mr. Latham turned on a Daily Telegraph photographer.
Definitely think Mark snapped.
They've introduced a meal in his honour, the Never Bloody Happy meal.
Now there's plenty of unhappy pollies, as seen in New South Wales Parliament when Andrew Fraser collared Joe Tripodi.
I thought it was great that he was passionate enough, that he cared enough and was angry enough to lash out.
John Prescott started a big biff in Britain.
I think that Deputy Prime Minister, who, when he got the egg thrown at him, turned around, looked at the bloke and belted him, I think that was sensational.
But for a real polly punch-up, look no further than a typical day in Taiwanese Parliament.
Wow, say what?
More of it, I say. Let me have a go.
At number 5, while a current affairs Ben Fordham was investigating Cameron Donald, his henchman snapped.
Well, I'd been actively looking for Cameron Donald for quite a long time.
Have you misled the banks at the true sale price of the property? Is that what you've done, Mr. Donald?
So I'm standing at the car door throwing more questions at Cameron Donald, and at this point, some other bloke I've never seen before, turns out his name's John Philibossian. Philibossian jumps out of the car, and it's game on.
Mate, are you right, mate? Don't assault people. Are you working for Mr. Donald, are you?
Now, the first thing he did, which really scared me, was he put his hand inside his jacket pocket.
Mate, stay away from me.
What are you doing? You're assaulting me.
No, I'm not assaulting you.
Usually, of course, it's us pursuing the bad guy, but what happened in this case is he started pursuing me.
But this is only going to make... Mate,
I'm going to die.
I beg your pardon.
You just
Mate,
whispered
you
to me
are
that I'm going to
absolutely
die.
crazy.
You just whispered
You
to
are
me
an
that
absolute
I'm
leech.
going to die. I'm going to die, am I?
So he followed us inside this restaurant, and I was asking the owner of the restaurant to call the police, because at this stage it had just gone too far, and I didn't want it to escalate any further.
Push me! Mate, you don't push me!
You hear me on the tape keep saying to the cameraman, Drew, keep rolling, because I knew this guy was waiting for that split-second opportunity to lay one on me.
Drew, keep the camera rolling,
well,
mate.
let's call the police and we'll
Drew,
sort
keep
it
the
out.
camera rolling. No, I know it's rolling, but I want full frame.
You are a cripple. You are a cripple.
Good hit, mate.
And I got smacked in the mouth, so it hurt.
So I've just been punched straight in the face by someone working for Cameron Donald.
I suppose when you're in the car and you're heading out to something like that, you do get a little bit worried, you're a little bit concerned, but my only hope when there's danger around is it's the cameraman who cops it, not me.
At number 4, when it comes to tantrums, rock stars top the charts. Cher, for instance, got revved up by some unwanted media attention.
Hey, I just want you to know what a slimy, low-life I think you are, okay? I hope this has sound. This is like one of my few things that I can do by myself. This is the town where I live, and you are a slimy, low-life okay?
Did she have a right to be angry? Sure, of course she did. Did she regret it? Probably not. Did she give the guy what he wanted? Absolutely.
You're not a man!
In Johnny Rotten's case, it's rotten by name, rotten by nature.
Shut up, Brian. Shut up!
As the British press found out in 2002.
Come on, I'm challenging you. Give me something to talk about, you bunch of wankers.
Anne Bjork was clearly not in the mood to talk with this female reporter after her long trip to Thailand.
That's what airline food can do to you. It just makes you go off.
After the break, we reveal our top 3 losing it. Welcome back to 20 to 1, where we've reached our top 3 tantrums. And taking third place tonight is one of our best tennis players in one of his worst moments. In a match against James Blake at the 2001 US Open, Lleyton Hewitt lost it after 2 controversial calls by an African-American linesman.
Come on, sort it out.
What a pity. He said it there and then with those 2 people.
Look at him, mate. Look at him and you tell me what the similarity is.
Well, come on, Lleyton. What were you saying? They're both 6'2"?
When Lleyton exploded, many Americans felt his comments were racially motivated.
There are moments in Australian sport that make you cringe. What he said on that day will never be forgotten. It was appalling.
Yeah, I mean, if he's going to make statements like that, you better be prepared to back it up.
I was just asking, the same question, in an easy way, and it wasn't a racial comment at all.
The thing is, Lleyton's tennis defensive game's pretty good, not so defending some of his stupid comments.
I think Lleyton was totally innocent in that. He hates everyone equally.
Lleyton is no stranger to controversy. Only 3 months before his US Open tirade, he got himself into hot water at the French Open.
Lleyton Hewitt is through to the quarter-finals despite being fined $2,000 for calling the umpire a spastic.
At number 2, when it comes to losing control of one's grip on reality, this German teenager caught on his bedroom webcam loses nothing in translation.
He's scary. Needs his backside tan, probably.
And I have it on good authority that Mark Latham actually used that as a training film.
That kid looked as if he was on the verge of invading Poland. But while little Fritz lost it in the privacy of his own bedroom, tonight's number one is a man watched by millions and not to be ignored. It was one of 2008's most celebrated television tirades. Talk show king David Letterman did everything he could to hide his fury when US presidential nominee John McCain stood him up.
He had to cancel the show because he's suspending his campaign because the economy is exploding.
Only an hour before he was due to appear, McCain called Letterman, claiming he had to fly to Washington for economic crisis meetings. Letterman began to seethe.
When you call up, and you call up at the last minute and you cancel a show, ladies and gentlemen, that's starting to smell.
Ooh, beware of the host who's been stood up.
David Letterman that night was like a dog with a bone.
Well, Letterman was really pissed off. I mean, he'd been very good to John McCain.
In fact, McCain had previously used Letterman's audience as a platform to make a major announcement.
I am announcing that I will be a candidate for President of the United States.
Oh. So on the night McCain cancelled, things took a turn for the worst when Letterman crossed live to McCain being made up for another interview. Letterman snapped.
Let's just see what he has to say here. This will be interesting. I wonder if he'll mention me. Hey, John, I got a question. You need a ride to the airport?
If you're going to stand up someone, I advise you not to stand up someone with an internationally renowned television show that's on every night. It's probably not a wise move.
And when McCain finally appeared on the show, Letterman had his revenge.
Can you stay?
Yes, sir. Depends on how bad it gets.
He just got roasted.
Absolutely. If you're going to tell porky pies, you got to be willing to face the consequences.
What exactly happened?
I screwed up.
The thing you got to remember about David Letterman is that he's been doing the same Tonight Show for a really, really long time. And he's a lot older now. And, you know, sometimes he's a cranky old guy and he loses it. And sometimes that makes for great television.
It seems there are some people you just don't cross, even if you might be the next president of America. Well, that's all for tonight's celebration of the illustrious and ill-mannered. Join us again next week for another Adults Only 20 to 1. Good night.